Hello, I'm Rida Fakhri. Welcome to We the People. In this episode, we focus on the Hispanic community of Tulsa in Oklahoma. It has more than doubled over the last decade to 70,000, making it 1/5 of the city's population. Such numbers allow illegal immigrants to blend in more easily. In 2007, Oklahoma State passed one of the country's toughest laws on immigration. The law, known as HB 1804, punishes anyone who transports or hires illegal immigrants. The new law has forced many of them into the shadows. Families without proper documentation worry about leaving their homes. These immigrants are scared to take their children to hospital when they're sick, and it is harder to find work. Immigration is one of the key issues in this year's presidential election. According to official estimates, about 12 million illegal immigrants live in the United States. Voters are paying careful attention to what the presidential candidates are now saying about immigration reform. We the People travels to Tulsa and explores how immigration policy has divided the community.
Yo me llamo Blanca Thames.
My name is Blanca Thames.
Secretaria de la Coalición Sueño Americano.
I am originally from Mexico. I immigrated to the United States in 1981. Tulsa, Oklahoma has been my home for almost 23 years. At the beginning, Tulsa was the friendliest city I have ever known. Lately, the atmosphere started becoming a little bit more hostile for the immigrants.
Aquí tienes, ese es mi número de teléfono.
I go and knock on doors.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
You know, I just tell them, this is what is happening and this is how you can help somebody.
Ninguna información que no sea necesaria.
People stay in their homes because they're afraid because of the fear.
The community believes that they're not paying taxes, which is not true.
Are they over here legally? Like, did they come across the border, get their green card and all that?
Yeah, sometimes.
If they do, then I'm good. But them motherfuckers that run across the river, hola, Viva Mexico, I don't like them.
Tulsa changed because of this law. 1804 gives room for discriminatory practices.
Speak English. I'm American. Talk American. If you're here, talk American.
Are you legal? Are you legal?
Why is it that you have so much anger to it?
I'm over here legally.
This isn't Mexico. This is America.
I don't think that it's right to be judgmental just because of the color of the skin, you know?
It's not racial. None of us are immigrants because we were born here.
We don't have any problem with Mexicans except for the ones that aren't here legally.
They take jobs away and they work for cheaper just so they don't have to pay taxes.
And they're not paying for
No, they are paying taxes. You are just being misinformed. That's what happens. And that's what creates all of this anger.
What's being misinformed is 100 million of y'all jumping over and scattering over our borders daily.
But I encourage you to do research and don't believe just what any people feed you. Just learn the facts, because these people are just working, honestly working, earning their living, and they are paying taxes.
This is America.
His points of views were very much different than mine, and the information that he was giving was totally wrong.
I'm white. Do I look like I was born in Mexico?
For him being white, that didn't make him an American just because he was white. A person should not be judged because of the color of the skin.
It is absolutely critical that we tone down the rhetoric when it comes to the immigration debate, because there has been an undertone that has been ugly. Oftentimes, it has been directed at the Hispanic community. We have seen hate crimes skyrocket, and that is unacceptable.
The policemen, sometimes they're our friends and sometimes they're not.
Suseli is a member of the church that I attend and a dear friend of mine who happened to be stopped by a police officer. She didn't have a driver's license and her insurance with her. They arrested her husband as well as her, and her husband was deported.
Suseli is staying at one of a friend's house
because she doesn't have any means to support herself. She cannot afford paying for a babysitter and a house and the food and transportation. Yo salí de la casa porque tenía que ir.
Well, I left the house because I had to go visit a friend, and the police started following me, and I didn't know why. I mean, supposedly the plates on the car were okay. They asked me for ID, and I told them I didn't have one. My husband was telling me that they were going to let me go, and if they take him, it's okay. But unfortunately, it was not like this. What they did was put us in jail. I was in jail for a week, asking God that my kids would be okay. My husband said, please let my wife go. We have kids that are alone. It was bad for them that I disappeared all of a sudden, when usually I would be with them day and night taking care of them. My husband provided for us, and we were never in need of anything with him. But now we're deeply in need. It has been very difficult, and now it's just me.
Your kids were born here, right?
Yes, both of them.
I think America, first of all, belongs to the American Indians. And secondly, it belongs to all type of immigrants because this nation was built by immigrants. My husband is an American Indian from the Creek tribe. Very proud of his heritage.
I was born in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Felipe is part of our family because he came and lived with us before he turned 12. We tried the very best to raise him, to place him into Christian schools, giving him the best that we could. And Felipe happens to be an undocumented kid.
Felipe, I was hoping he would be a U.S. citizen, but I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to get his paperwork.
Of course, I am very, very worried about Felipe. There is no day that passes by that I don't think that something may happen to him.
It's kind of scary, him driving, if you get pulled over, that's it. He'll get deported.
He doesn't know Mexico very well. This is his home.
Yeah, someone tipped off the sheriff saying there's a bunch of illegals that they call them. So the sheriffs arrived and he took about 10 people or so.
Let us abuse of power.
Well, it turns out that between 3 and 5 of those people that were arrested were actually U.S. citizens.
That is very, very embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
I am the secretary for the Coalition for the American Dream. The coalition advocates for a just and fair immigration reform, and we started doing gatherings and marches.
This country is here to provide for a better future and a better opportunity for anyone who comes here. Radical groups that advocate for law like 1804 feel that there's an automatic violation of the rule of law. The argument that just because you came here violating the law automatically denies you every right and opportunity that everyone else can enjoy, that is preposterous.
I'm with the immigration group IRON, Immigration Reform for Oklahoma Now. We're composed of independent voters, Democrats and Republicans, and we are united on what we call the one issue, which is the illegal alien invasion.
How much does this illegal immigration cost us?
We cannot take care of their entire country.
Wages have gone down.
The Hispanic are having children. And we Caucasians are not. Pretty soon they're going to outnumber us. And that's what they say. And that's what they're working on.
We went down to the Capitol. We kept immigration in the forefront. HB 04 was just an accumulation of several years' work, because like I said, it was our third bill.
Our government has let us down.
If our federal government would do what they're supposed to do and control our borders and our sovereignty, we wouldn't be here today.
And they need some protections under the law. And they need some of our love and compassion.
John McCain has always been advocating for an immigration reform.
And when I'm president, I will put comprehensive immigration reform back on the nation's agenda. We're not going to have to wait for 10 years or 8 years to make this happen. In my first term, we will make this a priority, and we will get this done.
I believe that the Democratic Party favors more the middle-income families and create a better program for the undocumented or the immigrant population.
Pero si has notado un cambio, ¿verdad? En la,
But you've noticed a change, right, in how they treat you before and after this law was instituted.
Claro que sí. Of course. When I came, I had a lot of expectations of coming to the States to make a lot of money.
Lo que se viene a Estados Unidos a traer dinero. Vine, trabajé y trabajaba día y noche.
I worked and worked all night and still didn't.
Yo tenía 3 trabajos.
I had 3 jobs, in the morning cleaning schools and factories. I would work all day.
Estoy decepcionada del país.
I'm not disillusioned with the country, but with the people, how they treat you.
Tú podías salir, al menos me gusta la calle, me gustaba salir.
I like to go outside and play with my daughters. They looked at you normally, and we would go to the park and you would be fine. And now, there are people that say nasty things to you on the street, like, go back to your country, and they look at you strangely. Unfortunately, it's doing a lot of harm.
Porque está separando familias.
It is separating a lot of families.
Separó a mis hijas de su...
It has separated my daughters from their father, and they have no fault in this.
Sí, mi amor, papi está en México.
I'm Lonnie Vaughn, and this is my church family. You know, we've lived side by side with the immigrant community, documented and undocumented. They're a vital part of our community. I've been called to the Hispanic community, and I'm convinced of that. And as long as I'm convinced that's where God wants me to be, at whatever cost, I will be there. All right, seatbelts, everybody. One of the functions in my church that I carry out is I'm the bus driver. On Sundays, every morning, Sunday morning early, I'm in that bus and I'm making a big circle throughout the community picking up our Hispanic families, some of them that don't have transportation. Good morning. You look pretty today. Some of these people today will be undocumented. Not all of them, but some of them will be. You know, 8 years, I'm almost a decade into this. This is my family. And you think of some of these young babies that have been in my life for 8 years, some of them are teenagers now, and I've watched them grow up. And I wake up one day, and the state of Oklahoma has this new law that tells me that I'm to have nothing to do with this group of people that I'm involved with. Okay, guys, give me just a second here. Oh my goodness. And just like today, what I'm doing right now, according to the new law, House Bill 1804, I'm committing a felony. Every time I pick someone up today, if any of those persons happen to be undocumented, then I'm committing a felony. This is a two-way street. You know, yes, they have their part. Yes, they did come here without permission. But we have to share this equally. We were part of this. They wouldn't have come if we hadn't provided jobs, if we hadn't, you know, said we need you here and encouraged them to come. And with this new law that we have in the state of Oklahoma, we as Oklahomans are not accepting any responsibility for this situation whatsoever. And we're just going to wipe our hands and think we're going to walk away from it. And so how's that changed my life? I go from thinking I'm out working in the community helping to becoming a felon. But when I see a police officer down the road, I get nervous. I feel a little bit of sweat on my forehead, you know. I make sure I got both hands on the steering wheel, and I feel nervous. I feel nervous.
Yes, sometimes I'm worried that him going out and picking people up, things will change, because as the law stays in effect, I think that the people around it will get bolder and change the way that they make decisions.
Do I look like a preacher? I've asked myself this question, should I stop? I've sat down with my wife and my family and we've discussed this. And as a family, we've made a decision that if that's what happens, if I have to go to jail, then so be it. I'm not going to stop reaching out to the community.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good or bad law. I think that we've ignored the illegal immigration problem for a long time, but the law is probably one of the strongest laws in the United States today for a state. 1804 requires law enforcement to respond to complaints about illegal immigrants. If I was here illegally and I worried about that a lot, and then a state passes a law, then yeah, I would feel that I was targeted, sure.
Father, you are so good to us. Another function in my church is I teach a Bible study. When the law was passed, immediately we began to see an exodus of people that just quietly disappeared. And in our congregation we experienced that. And these are people that we care about. In Jesus' name, amen. There's been a large concentration of the Hispanic community in that area where Santa Cecilia is located. It's a large facility, several 100,000 square feet. People are afraid to come to Santa Cecilia, and that's back to the fear. People staying home, not wanting to come out. If they're not out, they're not consuming, and that shopping center is losing a large percentage.
This is one of the consequences of 1804. People are not spending their money like they used to before House Bill 1804. Now you're really starting to see the businesses that have left or closed.
Bien, gracias. Hey, I just came by to see what happened with the police department.
About 3 weeks ago, the police would stand outside and by the parking lot on the other side. They would stop people for no reason.
And did they arrest you?
Yes, they arrested me on Saturday.
And what happened when the people were arrested?
Well, they took the people out. There were about 4 or 5. And the people were not drunk. They asked the officials why they were taken out. And they said it was for public intoxication.
And when you got to the jail?
Yes, they asked me for my social security number. And I said, social security number for what?
And you are obviously a U.S. citizen.
U.S. citizen, but they didn't know.
How is your business going since the law has passed?
Very bad. We are scraping by.
Do you have children?
I have 2 children. I have a 20-year-old and a 13-year-old. The 13-year-old saw the arrest.
What do you think he thought when you were arrested? Do you think your son was affected?
I don't think he can even look at a policeman. Many times you tell your children, if there's a problem, call the police. But the police do not respond the way they should.
See, I have no reports of those incidents. I haven't had anything reported to me like that. But if that's occurred to someone, they're welcome to report it to me.
I don't think there's a person in the United States that doesn't want immigration reform. I think we all as a nation realize that we need immigration reform. Our President Bush came up with a great plan. We're going to bring you out of the shadows. We're going to identify who you are. We need to do that. It's time to do that. And I wish that I could believe that whoever was elected president could have some real authority and control over that, but I'm not sure that they can do anything but just say this is what they believe and feel.
En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amén.
My name is Father Jose Maria Briones, and we are in the Church of St. Thomas More in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have been here for 7 or 8 months. It was a community that has had a Hispanic following of about 150 people, but now it has grown a lot. It is in an area with a lot of Hispanics, and the fact that there is a priest that speaks their language and expresses faith in a similar way has allowed the community to come to this church. Since the law of 1804, a lot of things have changed to a lot of people. There is a type of collective panic. More than anything, we need a prayer. Every day at noon, an Our Father, and a Holy Mother, and we will hope that they get to God, and that it will touch many people against the immigrant community in this country and in this state.
The
fact of the matter is that the church can't be on the sidelines. If the church wants a common good, the common good for the community, then it can't be on the sidelines of politics. Politics are supposed to be for the common good. But what really frustrates me is that a state as religious as Oklahoma has this situation. You can see on your own that even on this street there are several churches. If we look over there, there are churches. Everywhere there are churches. So what worries me is what type of gospel are they teaching?
The immigrant community, period, no longer feels welcome in the state of Oklahoma. We did a job of doing just that very thing, of showing them that they're not welcome in Oklahoma. And just hearing that come out of my mouth as an Oklahoman, that hurts me inside, because this is not the Oklahoma I know, and this is not the people I know.
These invaders openly burn our flag. They openly refuse to obey our laws and the law enforcers. They condemn our form of government. They elect lawmakers and slander our president and demand citizenship to become a part of this government they hate so much. Why?
And maybe I'm being naive, but I still believe with all my heart that as unfair, as unjust, and unconstitutional as this law is, I can't help but believe at some point that it'll fall apart.
Give Papa a kiss.
One day I found myself saying, you know, what if I was there? And I realized I would have done the same thing they done. I would have brought my family from there to here, you know, and I've got respect for that.
I am worried that the authorities could catch me and deport me. What will happen to my kids, my wife?
I look in the face of the individual who decided to stay here. He's made a choice. Does he live with fear? Absolutely. But you see this determination, you see this strength in this person. They're fighting for a future generation. This is a battle that they're fighting for their children and probably their grandchildren. I look at them and they're my heroes.
And that is all for now. Until next time, goodbye.